Hello, friends. We got to dive into this one because there is a lot to cover. It has just been a week jam-packed full of news, mostly surrounding the official shipments and or soon-to-be deliveries of the Lightning. We, 2 days ago, just saw the first bits of Lightnings being loaded onto trucks, loaded onto trains, and it's really exciting. So pay attention to the end of this video because it's going to be headline after headline after headline, 4 or 5 things we got to talk about, and I'm going to try to keep it short, keep it concise, and just hit the nails on the head here. Man, I'm really excited to dive into this. So first things first, kind of a news just on my personal kind of exploration of the F-150 Lightning, and it's my dealer reached out to me to say that their F-150 Lightning is rounding out production and should be in Grand Rapids here sooner than later, hopefully within the month or so. So I'm really excited to just be able to drive one and just try one out. Seeing all these videos of people behind the wheel, getting to actually experience the vehicle, it kind of kills me. I'm just like, oh, I want to be there. I want to see this stuff. So really excited that that's, not too far away for me. And for you guys as well, I recommend calling your dealers and saying, hey, how far away are your demo units? Because I got to get my hands on that steering wheel. So yeah, I'm really excited about that, and stay tuned because I'm hoping to make just a overly elaborate video about every nook and cranny of that dang vehicle. So excited about that. If you didn't catch my last video real quick, all about this guy here, I'm just like so hype on just EVs in general this week because I just got this for the new house, not the current house I'm in, but we're moving within a month or two, and I'm going to be installing this bad boy. Be sure to go on my latest video. I'll probably have it linked to learn all about that. Really excited about that charger there. So let's hit some headlines. So the first thing, as I mentioned, we're watching video here of Jim Farley himself posted both the Lightning hopping onto trucks and onto trains. He's been very active. It's been a very fun Twitter feed to follow this week, even showing photos of Jay Leno and Kelly Clarkson driving the vehicle. So, man, they're hitting all the rounds, and it's weird right now because it was almost like just a kind of nerdy cult following of, obviously the vehicle's been very popular, but like the people who watch my videos, for example, we've been really in the weeds of the Lightning, and it's kind of cool now that it's becoming extremely mainstream, and it's just so popular now that it's actually like launched that we're getting a lot more eyes on the Lightning, and I don't know, I'm just really excited that it's happening. It's really happening after all this time. Well, it's not all good news, and in fact, most of the good news kind of ends there, unfortunately. We have some things to talk about. So the first thing I want to talk about is that Ford recently announced that these Lightnings that are being shipped will not include the phone as key functionality, which is just a huge head scratcher, and Ford did not respond to requests of why. And I don't really have a good guess. At first, I thought it was a chip thing. However, they mentioned that it will be enabled later via an over-the-air update, so it'll be software added. So it's not like a physical chip that they need to add to the vehicle like they do with some other ICE vehicles. So it's really interesting why this is not being included. I know, if you remember some early videos I was making, I strictly wanted to go from XLT to a Lariat just for the phone as key. And it's not like it won't be there soon, very soon. In fact, I'm sure, I think they said late summer, they will add this over the air. So you'll get this feature. Don't be like bummed out or worried or anything. However, people taking delivery will not be able to set up this function and will just have to use the normal key fob. Very interesting. And again, Ford did not elaborate why. However, in a report from Teslarati I was reading today, said there's another recent scare of people being able to hack these systems. Now, this is strictly coming from Teslarati. I don't know all the details on that, and I can't guarantee that's the reason why. I'm far from it. However, it is interesting to know. I think they made the right move, right? If that's really a scare, imagine that the first week of the Lightning launch and all of a sudden they're getting hacked or something. So smart move if that is the case. So that's that. Let's move on to the next thing that's also not amazing news. In fact, but this one's not Ford's fault. It's the dealer's fault. Man, oh man, are they going crazy? And honestly, I feel really grateful that I'm not part of this initial launch because so many people are now facing dealer fees that are through the roof. Now, I have an article here also from Teslarati that just is showcasing a couple of the markups that they found that I just got to mention. So what we have here, a California dealership charging $145,000 for a Platinum. And now just to kind of backtrack, the Platinum should be around $90,000. So they're literally adding over $50,000 markup on this vehicle. As we continue, there's some other places in California charging $130,000. And another Platinum that's at $134,000, and all these averaging at around $40,000 markup. And what's crazy, these are all on those dealer units that they sent out. So as a quick refresh, these demo units, these mannequins that are coming to the dealers right now, Ford has a rule that says you can't sell these for 90 days. And not only that, they said earlier, you can't mark these up either, or we're going to limit your availability. They're either having to pay a $25,000 fine, which is probably why the markup's so high, or they're not only selling it for this much, but the customer is agreeing to wait the 90 days until that vehicle is even being allowed to sell. But these dealers don't care, obviously. They're all in it to make the dollars, which just makes me sick to my stomach in a lot of ways, because at the end of the day, it's not just the customer who's buying this at an insane price who's being hurt. It's the people waiting in line who are really going to get hurt. Let's say Ford decides to crack down on some of these dealers that are charging insane amounts. Well, the people who have reservations there, they're never going to get their trucks because Ford's going to stop allotting vehicles to these dealerships that are just doing crazy markups. So set a cap on it at the very least, because obviously there's arguments to be made. Hey, the market is what it is. Dealers have to do what they do. Because the used market, people can turn around and sell it for the same price that these dealers are marking it up. So that argument could be made. I hate it, but it could be made. So at least set some sort of ground rules here, because it is like the wild, wild west of selling EV trucks. If you recall, there was a EV Hummer that went for like $200,000 over, or $200,000. There was a Rivian that just sold for like $150,000. These things are hard to find. People want it and they're not afraid to pay money, and that's just driving up the price. And again, we're all just being hit. And these are insane prices. Like, I was honestly, I could understand when it was like $1,000 or $2,000 or even $5,000. Like, that just made sense, kept the market competitive. I didn't like it, but at least it made sense to me. But these numbers are sickening. It's too much. It's insane. Now, it's not all bad news. Like I said, Ford actually does have a new plan to stop these dealer markups, according to a recent article from CarBuzz. Okay, so the way that they're hacking down is kind of a convoluted dealer language, so I'm going to do my best to kind of translate this here. Now, there's what's called a name match policy, and as I understand it, again, I just learned this today. I'll have the article linked if you want to read up more. Essentially, Ford is cracking down, making sure that I believe 75% of car orders must be name matched, so belonging to a customer. And essentially it means that the person, or Ford, is making you give the customer's name, and then that customer needs to be the person who ends up with the vehicle, where essentially this has been abused in the past to buy more inventory or order more inventory under either fake names or just a customer who wasn't really interested, just so that Ford could keep those vehicles on hand and then therefore sell them at a higher price. So does this directly combat the issue at hand? Maybe not. However, Ford is being very strict about it, to the point where if you are caught once, you will forfeit 1 month's worth of allocations. and 3 violations, you will be kicked out of the Ford name match and integrity policy entirely, meaning that it will be extremely difficult for repeat offender dealers to do business. Basically, it's Ford's way of saying, don't do this or we're going to be pissed. Now, again, my problem with this is, yeah, the dealer gets hurt when they abuse the system, but the customers do too. Again, I don't know if my dealer, I've done a decent amount of homework on my dealer, but I don't know every in and out of like what they've been up to. So if they're abusing this with other customers, and then all of a sudden they get in trouble from Ford, and then they don't get allocations for a month, and now I'm waiting another month or who knows how long if they're being bad. So I don't know. I don't know if it's the best policy, but again, overall point is to enforce stuff like this to, I guess, scare the dealers into, hey, we're going to obey the rules. We're going to keep playing by the books that Ford gives us. And in my discussions with Tim Bartz, who is another YouTube guy here, he's always said in his videos that when you obey Ford's rules, you get awarded with more allocation. So hopefully that's what incentivizes things, is saying, hey, these people who are doing it right, they're getting a ton more vehicles. Therefore, other dealers know, hey, maybe I shouldn't be greedy. Maybe I should just sell normally, and therefore be rewarded in the long run with one, better customer retention, because people are going to go back to the place that didn't charge them $50,000 over asking. And 2, they're going to have longer longevity, more sales, because they're getting more allocation. So hopefully dealers are smart enough to pick up on that. Obviously not all of them, because I mean, we're seeing the numbers right here and it's just absolutely insane. So my way of wrapping this up is, do this one thing for me. Double check in on your specific dealer. If you have a reservation right now, make sure there's nothing shady. Make sure on the website you don't see that they have their demo unit coming in and it has a $160,000 price tag. Keep an eye on it. Maybe even go as far as call them and say, hey, do you see all this stuff that's going on? That's crazy. You guys aren't doing that, are you? Like, that's kind of what I'm going to do via email, just to double check and make sure they know that Ford's cracking down, so they don't, one reason I like doing stuff like this is just show your dealer that you're educated on this stuff, because that way they're going to be straight with you. Hopefully they're not going to do anything like salesy anymore and treat you like more of a peer, and rather than a blind customer who they're going to just, charge you an insane amount on a truck. I'm a kind of guy who I will put all my cards on the table and say, hey, here's what I know. Here's what I want. If you can do this, we're in business. If you can't do this, no problem, but I'm not going to buy from you, or I'm going somewhere else. And that, in my experience, has just worked a lot more than just stupid games and just, all of the stuff that people used to do. And, well, too many people still do. So I don't know. At this point, I'm rambling. I'm all wired up, but all this stuff is exciting, and man, oh man, more and more and more of these videos I'm sure will happen with more crazy markups, more ups, more downs. I'm excited. Please stay subscribed. There's so much to cover here. I'm out of breath. I've been talking too long. I got to end this video. Thank you guys. I'll see ya. Bye.